Welcome to Tune In with Talia. How's everybody doing? And welcome, Lauren.
Thanks.
Lauren Osabel. Welcome to the show, to my show. How's it going?
Well, I'm really excited to be here with you, Talia, and see you, if not in person, at least virtually.
Yes, it's so nice to have you with me tonight. Thank you for joining me as my musical artist of the week. And you are a wonderful flute player and as well as teacher, and you do a lot of administrative work. We want to hear tonight all of the things that you do in the musical field and just share with us your story. So we're
Great.
excited.
So I think every musician has like a different story to tell, and so happy to talk about it.
Great. So before we get into the questions, I just want to give everybody a little background about who you are, your history. So Lauren Osabel, just to name a few highlights because you have a very impressive and extensive performance career and award-winning career. So here's just a little bit about you in a little clip. So you are a coveted New York chamber and orchestral musician, and Lauren has performed with numerous ensembles as a soloist at Weill Recital Hall, Merkin Hall, and the 92nd Street Y, among others. And she has performed at Carnegie Hall Stern Auditorium as principal flute with the New York Women's Ensemble. In addition to being on the faculty of Friends Academy and the Greenvale School, Miss Osabel runs her own private flute studio in Huntington. And an avid educator and performer, Miss Osabel has combined both passions by founding and co-directing the Oyster Bay Music Festival, a summer performance intensive for 35 to 40 highly talented and prize-winning young classical musicians ages 10 to 25. And the mission of the Oyster Bay Music Festival has been to provide a training ground for young musicians and for those who are about to embark on their musical journey. So, and right as they're about to embark on their professional careers. And I think this has been a wonderful festival to bring to communities, to bring people together to enjoy this art form. And we, at my synagogue at Congregation La Dover, have so enjoyed hosting the Oyster Bay Music Festival now a couple years in a row. Last year in person and this year virtually, because that's what we had to do. But still, it was wonderful. And it's so wonderful to have you on here. I can't wait to hear more about what you've been up to these days in this crazy time that we're in.
Oh, isn't it? It's so surreal. I actually, for the first day, went back to Friends and was teaching there, not actually teaching flute, but meeting with the kids. And although we're wearing masks and taking precautions, it feels kind of normal. You're not really thinking about the virus. And so it's lovely to be back with the kids and also at the other private school I teach at, Greenvale. So I've really been enjoying that. My flute teaching for my own private students, I've been doing completely virtual. And it was definitely an adjustment. At first, it was kind of exhausting to not have that, immediate connection and, be physically in the space with your student. But the silver lining with that, I think, is that I think there's a certain level of intimacy that develops even over the computer because kids now, they're kind of bereft of certain things in their lives now, seeing their friends normally or even being in school. So even their connection with their instrumental teacher is really important. So, sometimes I'll spend 5 minutes talking about one of my students' cats or, what book
Yeah,
they're reading.
that's nice. That's a
Yeah.
great teacher to not only focus on the flute, but to focus on the person, right?
Yeah, someone once said that to me. It's not about the subject matter. It's actually about the connection with your teacher.
So
So,
important. And I
yeah.
know that from having many teachers for singing, and it's important that it's the whole and not just the instrument.
Yeah, you have to have like a good, rapport with your teacher and like and vice versa. I mean, if you to have like a trust that what they're telling you and to be inspired and motivated.
Yeah. So you're saying you're doing in person lessons now? Just started
Well,
going back?
we're not really in the private schools normally where I would teach flute groups, grades, 4 through 8 or 4 through senior. Um, we one school we're actually each instrumental teacher is making does a virtual, not a virtual, but a presentation for all the grades actually. So kids come in small groups for half an hour segments. The other school will be teaching actual instruments. They have provided all these safety measures. I'm not sure that I'm going to go in. I might do it virtually because, like, with voice, the flute is a super spreader in terms of.
Right. How do you play with a man? How do you play with? I mean, I've seen actually some instrumentalists have these masks that you can actually. There's a space for. It does makes no sense to me though.
I don't know, actually, I should show you, but they just gave me a mask, so I'm gonna have to like fool around with it and
Oh,
see
wow.
what I
Yeah.
actually can do with it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you first got into the flute. What age did you start playing the flute? And yeah, tell us about that.
So I started at the age of 9 in fourth grade. The flute is an instrument that you usually don't start earlier because the public school programs start music in third or fourth grade. And a woodwind instrument is really hard to start when you're much younger because they don't come in smaller sizes like a string instrument. And the amount of air it requires can make little kids dizzy. So,
Lightheaded, right?
right, at first.
Yeah.
But I actually do have two students right now, one who's in second grade and one who's in third grade, who are just outstanding and really fun. And for some reason, they just can do it. But I started at 9. My mom was a musician, and so I was surrounded by music, and she brought me home a record back in the day from the library, and it was of Julius Baker, who was the then principal flutist of the Philharmonic, and oh, he was my dream player, and I still, to this day, even though he's gone, love his playing, and I fell in love with this record and the sound of the flute.
Wow. So he inspired you and influenced you. Yeah,
Totally.
that's awesome.
Um,
Um, did you chose the flute, or did somebody tell you like you should start this instrument, or did you
no,
really just love it?
I don't know how my mom knew, but she brought home this record. I fell in love with the sound of the flute. I got a great teacher. She knew to get me a teacher in fourth grade, and I just took to it and loved it. I didn't love practicing that much, I have to say. My mom would really have to like tell me to come inside and practice, but I always loved it. And to this day, I'm a flute nerd.
Do you recommend that kids start another instrument like the piano before taking the flute? I guess because you have to be a certain age, right, to start the flute. So piano would be a good maybe first instrument, or guitar or something that
I
can be
agree.
smaller sizes, or even just for smaller.
Sure. I think piano is great because I mean, how can that never be handy? And, kids can start that, as early as 3 or 4 if they can focus. It just, I'm sure like, just hearing music really makes you have a better ear. So the younger you start, I think the better sense of pitch and rhythm kids
Yeah.
have.
So
Um,
yeah, I agree. It's good to start when you're young on maybe piano or something that gives you a better understanding of chord structure and harmony and all of that.
and my mom actually, who was a pianist, started me on the piano when I was young. But my brothers played piano, they were older, and she would practice. And I remember sitting under the piano and just listening to her, play Chopin.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
It really helps to come from a musical family where it's in your ear all the time, right?
I think so. Did you grow up in a musical family too?
My mom was very musical. She has a beautiful voice. But she's a dancer. That was her thing. So, but we were always listening to music in the house, and music from all different parts of the world and styles and genres. So it was always around me. And both my brothers were in lessons, and my younger brother played guitar, and older brother had played piano for a little bit, and it was just always in our house. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's such a great thing to have music in your life, whether you pursue it as a profession or even, enjoy really playing an instrument, but it can't be anything but good for your soul.
And I feel like it's also stress relief. I mean, in a time of this unsettling pandemic, right? It's something for me when I sing, it's just a release of just stress and fear and everything. It's so healing for me and for many others who listen. or who play, an amazing stress release. I feel.
I agree with you. You know, one, I think it, of course, sometimes when you're practicing, 100 thoughts are going through your mind, or, sometimes I'm on my phone or looking at something on my email. But when you're really in a zone and you're just focusing, it's really such a meditative thing because I guess anything that takes you out of your head is a
Yeah,
and a good thing.
it's
So
meditation, right? It's true.
I agree with you 100%. I think, there are different things that you go through in your life and they're difficult. And I think having music to have in your life is a wonderful thing.
I agree. Have you been able to perform at all live during the last 9 months? I
No.
know it's just been a very daunting time for so many musicians, and I'm just wondering how COVID has impacted your performance career. I mean, I know you're teaching and I know you're able to do that, but performing might.
Yeah, everything was canceled. I think actually the last thing I was supposed to do right in March, I was doing an interesting program with the Huntington Choral Society where there were some pieces that required flute. And of course, that got canceled. And
A bummer.
yeah. But I think, now's a good time to kind of refuel and think ahead and
Yeah,
kind of think about what we want to do in the future because at some point this will subside.
it's true.
Um,
It's a pause, right?
yeah. I mean,
Healthy pause.
honestly, at the beginning, I think it was kind of a nice just to like not have to be running, teaching and practicing and trying to fit and being a parent and fitting everything into life.
Yeah, I get that. So tell us more about. I know you're involved in many different things in the musical field. So tell us about all the things you're involved with. I know you perform, you teach. What else are you involved with in the music?
So, yeah, it's been, I feel very fortunate to have this variety. I think when I graduated from conservatory, you're only thinking about getting that orchestral job or the perfect musician's life, but, life takes you on different, paths. And one of the main things that I do now is I run the Oyster Bay Music Festival, which takes place in the summer in Oyster Bay for about a week to 9 days. And actually, that's how you and I met. I was just really fortunate too. Like, we had a number of churches that we play at, and I thought, why not a synagogue? And I reached out to Talia, and I had no idea that you were this amazing singer. And it was kismet. It was
Yes,
just,
it felt like really meant to be.
yeah.
It
So
was so great for our congregation to open its doors to music, and oh, so great for our congregation and for the whole community at large to come to us. And
yeah, we
yeah,
were thrilled and we were so excited to come back with another program. We try to do these themed programs depending on the venue we're at, and we love doing a program of Jewish music or
yeah,
Jewish themed music. So we hope to do that again in the future.
so too. It will. I feel like it will be a tradition that will continue for many many years. So
Yeah,
excited about that.
we're actually just this coming summer will be our 10-year anniversary. So we're crossing, hoping that this will be able to be live. We don't know, but we'll see.
It's like very exciting. Is there anything that we can see? I don't know. Do we want to see something now from the festival? Do you want to share
Yeah,
something with us
let's show that
that we're talking about it?
yeah, the little montage from the festival. I'm so proud of these kids.
Let's see.
quarantine. Sometimes it's lonely, but I hope this will cheer you up.
Bravo.
It
Wow.
gave me chills just watching them because I'm so impressed with these young musicians. They're amazing.
The talent level is extraordinary. It's amazing.
There's some
And I've
really
thoroughly enjoyed the performances that I've watched. So, yeah.
I was thinking about musicians that inspire me, and I'm inspired by these kids because they're so, full of passion and play with their hearts and, are out there doing this. And it's just great to see it.
How are they coping with all of this? I mean, I know everybody copes in different ways, but I mean, how are they dealing with it? I mean, their careers are just about to take off, and now there's this pause. It must be so hard for them at this age. Right?
I think it is. Maxime, who was the pianist who played at the end, the
Yeah.
list, he's actually been concertizing for a number of years. He's 17, and his mom said, all his dates were canceled. He was going abroad, China, Europe. So he's been doing a lot of recording and a lot of collaborations with other musicians and composing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some of the younger musicians that are a little bit older, like the flutist Denis Savalev, who we saw at the beginning and the ending. He's been putting out content on social media, and I think everyone's networking. And he just started a new chamber music group. So hopefully, these are things that can sustain them, during this period. And when they get back into like more normalcy, they'll have some established groups and projects.
And it's a good time to also hone in on your technique too, right? Because you really can practice a lot, a lot
Absolutely.
more during the day.
It's so funny because I have a former student who already has an orchestra job but wants to go up to a higher level orchestra, and he said, "I'm just practicing day and night because when those auditions come, he's going to be there."
That's great, though. They have that all this time to really hone in on that.
Yeah. So, and the young ones, I think it's hard not to be playing chamber music, and
Yeah.
some of them are pre-college programs, and so they can't really do that.
I know it's so hard, and virtual lessons are just hard in general. It's hard.
They are. It's definitely not the same. Um,
Yeah. So tell us about your performance career, and maybe do you have a memory of a performance you gave that was just memorable for you, or just a favorite concert you did, or something that you loved?
I have a few, and one of the most exciting was performing at Stern Auditorium, which is the big hall at Carnegie Hall. I've also performed at Weill, but Stern is, that's like
Magnificent.
goosebumps. So that was really exciting, and it was with a really interesting group that was put together by the conductor, and it was an all women's group. So that was really wonderful. And the players came from all different places. And the oboe player was the principal oboist with the Baltimore Symphony. And there were musicians from the Met Orchestra. So that's a very cool experience.
Did you guys travel? Did you get to go places with them?
We didn't end up getting funding. So unfortunately, it was a one-off experience, but it was still a really exciting time.
Where has the flute taken you to around the world? Where have you been?
Let's see. Well, the most exciting is that I can say I've been was to China. We went with a flute quartet that I was in called Fem 4, and it was for this thing called United Nations Day. Um, I can't even tell you where we were in China. I just remember we flew there, we took another flight for 3 hours, and then we had a 4 hour bus ride. So the country is huge, and it was exciting. We didn't get to go out much. I think they're really careful about what visitors can do, but we did end up playing for thousands of people at this outdoor event. So it was very cool. And they thought, they must have thought we were superstars because everyone was filming us. And it was actually, and it was a very fun time just being with my colleagues. We had a great time.
It's like fun. I was actually all over China as well.
Oh,
I,
really?
I I traveled around China. I think I went to 13 different cities,
Wow.
or I don't know if they call them cities, provinces.
Provinces.
Yeah, but we were north, south, east, west. We were all over that country, and like these little planes that would take us. Like there was barely any time that we were just up from the ground and down. I remember it being like crazy. Hmm?
Such a large country, and it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it was exciting. I went with the Manhattan Symphony Orchestra, and I soloed with them. Not symphony with a not with a Y, with an IE. And I performed pieces from arias from operas and Phantom of the Opera stuff and
Oh, they must
Titanic.
be iconic. Oh, wow.
I remember I performed that song from Titanic, that Celine Dion song.
That's
And
an
everybody
amazing experience.
was,
Um, and they really like, I think they really like to see Americans or,
they love, right?
yeah.
I wasn't famous at all, but they were just asking me for my autograph after the show, right? Did they do that too?
It's amazing. We have some pictures, like one of my co-flutists took pictures and, really, we should have been wearing sunglasses. That it was that kind of experience.
Yes, they are in awe, right? That was fun.
Did you have interesting food?
I really stayed away from most of the food there. I didn't eat a lot of meat at the time. So,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I just was wary of trying new things. So I ate a lot of eggs and,
I had a lot of bok
rice.
choy, which was
Oh, bok
great.
choy, yeah.
Bok choy.
Yeah, I love bok choy.
And they
But I stayed away from the water. Did you stay away from the water?
yes.
Gotta stay away from that water.
Whenever I travel, that's like a no-no.
Yeah.
I remember one of my friends, we went to one really authentic meal. They took us out and she had the spine of some kind of fish.
Hmm.
Just ate it. Delicacy.
Interesting. I remember going to these outdoor markets where I would see all these different kinds of insects, dried up insects, and they were actually edible. And that was the first time I thought like someone could eat a tarantula. It was just, it was like, people actually eat these things?
This may be the way of the future because as like the climate change is happening and maybe we're not going to be raising livestock, people may be eating insects for protein.
You never know.
Yeah.
They do a lot of different things over there that we're not used to, but it's just fascinating to see. And all the dried meat hanging from the balconies. Did you see that? I'm
Oh, I
like,
didn't see that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so many
Travel
eye-opening
again.
things. Hmm?
I said it would be fun to travel again.
Yeah, don't you miss traveling?
I do.
Traveling. I really do. Can't wait for the time when we can get on a plane and go somewhere. Although there are people that are doing that now. I'm not comfortable.
They, yes, they are. But there was an article I think in New York Magazine about people who are traveling now, particularly because it's not crowded.
Right. And they have special air purifiers right now on these
Yeah,
flights.
I'm with you though. I think I would be a little
Yeah.
concerned.
Staying on the safe side.
I It's funny 'cause I was very cautious, extremely cautious. I don't think I went into a supermarket until 2 months ago. But now, as long as I feel like we're kind of prepared and you know what you're doing, you can at least be cautious in going out and venturing.
Yeah. Getting used to this whole thing.
Um,
So I would ask you to perform something now live, but I'm sure it's not easy to do. You don't have a pianist or anything.
yeah, I
But
would,
is there anything that we could watch or?
I would love it. I have a piece that's on my website by French composer Georges Hugh, who wrote this piece for, I believe it was for competition for the Paris Conservatory back in the early 20th century. Something I really love. And I played it actually with a fabulous pianist who lives in Huntington near me, who's also my daughter's piano teacher.
Wow. Oh, nice.
A lot of fun.
much more.
That's okay.
That was
I
gorgeous.
love the French music for the flute. I don't know about you with French music for voice. Do you do Ravel and
Oh yeah, I did all of that stuff when I was studying classical voice. Yeah, I love French music, and I love singing in French too. And all the different vowels.
yes, and I think actually, they say actually that really can change your tone, right? And articulation.
Yeah. Did you know I played the flute? Um, I think I mentioned this, but I played the flute. Flute. I started in fourth grade. I tried the violin in third grade. Didn't really like it or didn't take to it.
Yeah.
And I begged my parents to start voice lessons, and they told me I was too young. I had to go through puberty. So they said, what would you like to study if you don't play the violin or you don't study voice? And I said, I think I want to play the flute because the flute sounds most like the voice.
Aw.
So
That so speaks to me because I feel that that is so true.
and then I did fall in love with it. But then I kind of put it to the side once I could start focusing on singing. I got really into that, and I wish I had kept up the flute though. I really loved it, and I love my teacher Kim Collins. She was so wonderful.
Oh, I know Kim Collins. Kim,
Small flute world.
it is like a small world. I don't actually personally know her, but as you were saying, like what have I been doing to perform? There are a lot of social media things. One of the things I do is an etude of the week on Facebook, and she's one of the flutists, and I know she lives in Connecticut.
Yes, she
So
was
that's,
my flute teacher.
oh my gosh, she seems lovely. She's a very nice player.
She's a beautiful player, yeah, too.
Oh, so
Well,
cool.
maybe one day you'll meet her. Maybe we'll
Oh,
play together.
yeah, I'm going to mention this on Facebook now.
You should, yes.
Oh, cool.
Hi, Kim Collins, if you're watching. No, she's watching right now, but maybe she will.
So how did you find playing the flute to start with? Because it is a difficult instrument to initially get a sound out of. Were you able
Yes.
to
Um,
finagle that?
I didn't feel like too challenging. I mean, I just kept at it, and I was actually, I liked all the different, I liked the embouchure, right? The embouchure, like,
See, you have like flexibility, which is good. Yes, you have it, Talia.
I still have it there. I
You.
think I can take it up again.
We'll have to like kind of like exchange.
Yes, we'll do like a little barter. I'll give you a voice lesson, you give me a flute lesson.
Once COVID ends, we'll do
Yes,
that.
I think the flute helped me when I started taking voice lessons. It helped my capacity for air. It really expanded my lungs, I think, were exercised in a way that it made singing easier and more like the scales that I did. I remember my first voice teacher was like, how can you do these scales without wanting to take a breath? And I'm like,
Huh,
I think it was because I played the flute.
that's interesting. The flute actually takes more air than any other instrument, which, when I tell that to my little students, like you could have a contra tuba, but the flute, because there's no resistance, it can take up a lot of air. So, and vice versa, like I think a lot of flutists will take lessons with vocalists because it helps with breathing.
It all helps. It's all intertwined.
Yep. Yeah.
I remember my teacher at Juilliard, she would play the violin while I would sing these phrases as if I was singing a legato line, and she'd just be playing and showing me what I should be singing it like. And it was helpful because it just that continuous
Yeah.
stream of
Bow. Yeah. And we
flow.
also use kind of like different analogies to like kind of motivate or inspire someone to get like a kind of a smooth line or
Yeah. Did you go to school to teach, or did that just evolve, over time as a performer?
I actually no, I actually went to Juilliard pre-college and then I went to Northwestern for my bachelor's and my master's and it was all performance all the way. And I think in my late 20s, someone told me there was a job opening at a music school. So I was starting to do my doctorate and I was also teaching at this school in Nassau County. And I actually was always in love with teaching.
Wow.
So to this day, I never feel bored with my students. I love it.
That's amazing.
It's
I'm sure
fun.
you're a wonderful teacher. You seem like you'd be.
I love it. So I think anything that you love, is a good thing.
And what ages do you teach? I mean, what's your youngest student, and up until what age?
So right now, I have a student who started, she's now in third grade, but she started last year in second grade. And I teach all the way, most of my students are in the school system. So they're, usually fourth grade through seniors in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really nice because you have this continuous relationship with
Right.
them over the course of years, which is so nice.
And you stay in touch with these students even after they graduate.
It's the nicest thing. Like I have students now in conservatories. I have a student at Eastman at Cincinnati Conservatory, or who graduated even, and they'll come back to me, and it's so lovely. And now they can teach me things because they're out in the world and they know things that I don't know. So it's great.
And I know your daughter's a very talented singer as well, because you passed down the music gene.
Oh yeah, she loves it. And she was fortunate enough to take some lessons with you, and she loved them. It's just unfortunate she's a senior in high school now, so
Right.
he's geared towards getting into college.
You've got to focus on that. I know.
Oh my gosh, Talia,
Big.
it's a project.
Yes, I know.
But maybe when she's kind of gotten that application stuff finished, she can resume because she loved her lessons.
She has a beautiful voice. I hope she keeps exploring it and developing it. It's really
And how
beautiful.
about your kids? Do they? Because I'm absolutely convinced it is in the genes. So are they?
I see it. Actually, my 4-year-old wants to start studying piano. She's been asking me. We have a piano in the house, and she sees me use it all the time when I warm up and play different things. And she's like, "Mommy, I want to start taking lessons I know I want to learn how to play." It would be amazing if one day she became this incredible pianist and played for me.
Oh my gosh.
It's a dream.
No. You know, the kid
Play
in
for
you.
herself, more importantly.
Yeah, that's true. No, right. It's funny. I'm so glad that I didn't have like that feeling about my daughter because she actually started on the flute and she said I hate it like after a year, and I thought, okay, I'm not
Yeah,
forcing her.
you can't force. But
Um,
if there's a spark and an interest, I wanna
encourage it.
nurture and encourage it. But right now I'm thinking, how are virtual lessons gonna work for a 4-year-old playing piano? That's gonna be really hard.
Yeah. I remember my daughter started at 5 and she used to spin on that woman's piano bench, and I would just be like cringing, thinking, oh my gosh. But my daughter also loves the piano. And if your daughter is focused, I think, and she's motivated, you should try even 15 minutes. See if she
Oh,
can.
I should. And she does. She has a beautiful ear. She sings everything in tune. I know she has there's this beautiful voice in there too. I think she's gonna do something. If she doesn't, maybe she'll be a professional artist, a musical artist, but maybe she will do something. Who knows? But it's there. So I'm gonna try to keep developing it. And
I have to say, as a mom, like even beyond academic achievements, watching my daughter perform has been like the most thrilling thing for me. So,
I already feel like it's thrilling to watch her perform in my living room when she does these shows. Like, isn't it
oh
the
yeah,
best?
yes, you see them like when they perform, when their creativity and
Yeah, I can't wait to see her as she gets older and what she does with it.
well, she'll be starting kindergarten next year.
Yeah, hopefully she'll be going to school in person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think she will be.
hope so. Yeah, and my little guy, can't leave him out. I can't tell yet if he's a singer or if he's musical, but he's a drummer. I know that. He loves beats and he will make anything a drum. I mean, I see that already starting and has a good rhythm. So we know that that's there. And I've felt that in my belly when he was in my belly. I was like, oh,
A lot, or
guy's doing something in there that feels rhythmic.
I believe that's true.
I think it starts really early.
There was the percussion teacher that I is my colleague at Greenvale who plays on Broadway, and he's a fantastic guy. He said, the kids asked him, why did you take drums? He said, my mom said I was playing everything, pots, pans, and she just said, take the drums or percussion. And that's what he did.
Yeah. I already got him a little drum set, so
You know what? This is a perfect time because you know what? There's not that much to do.
I know. It's like, want to explore that? Go explore.
Yeah, it's amazing. I last year, no, before COVID, I went to a student's house and they were outside playing basketball. And I thought, this is fantastic. You don't see kids doing this anymore.
Yeah, that's so great. It's so great.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us or
Just I hope I can see some of you in person at this
no?
festival if we do run this year. And it was just lovely sitting and talking with you.
This was so nice. Thank you so much for coming on the show and us all learning about you and experiencing you, and it's been really wonderful. So Well, thank you.
And hopefully we'll see each other in person.
I hope so too.
All right, take good care.
Take good care and thank you again.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye. Tune in with me next Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Tune in with Talia. I look forward to seeing you all and having you join me.